Hi, I'm Mike Young here with Zoom, and I want to show a few cool new products that have hit the market this year. And I want to start with the L12 LiveTrak mixer. So this is a digital mixer. It's especially great for bands, but also all kinds of other stuff because it's extremely flexible. It's three things mainly. It's a normal mixer, so you got your output to the PA here, and you've got 12 inputs, 8 XLR combo inputs. It's also an audio interface, which has 12 input channels and 4 output channels. It's also a multi-track recorder recording to SD card, similar to what we know from the Handy Recorder series.
Wow, does it make coffee as well? That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, so it can even do quite a bit more, but I'm just going to start with that. So how this works, you got here the newest version of the preamps that Zoom likes to use, and this version, we've got really clean characteristic and very low noise floor. Minus 128 dBu noise floor. Very,
Is that
very
some
low
stereo
noise.
channels I can see on the side there?
Well, yes. There you've got jack inputs. So these 2 channels are laid out as 2 stereo channels. That's right. So how this works, you've got here your inputs from, let's say you've got a band going, they're going to play a concert or whatnot. You've got gain and compressor. Then the wave data will be created for the track if you've enabled record. You've got here, like you know from digital mixers, you've got the option to set up the EQ section for every channel, as well as send to the effects bus, setting pan, low cut. You got here parametric mids. This is a very smooth, user-friendly kind of EQ, so great, especially for bands. Nothing surgical here, but what you do here is going to sound good. So, right. So after the wave has been created, you've got the effects, then you got the fader. So that means if you recorded a live show and at the same time did your live mixing, the raw recordings, they will still be intact and could be used for a mix afterwards. If you do want to take the sum and the full mix, then you can enable record on the master channel, and then it's going to take the full mix, including the fader settings and effects. We've got here, in addition to the master mix output, we've got 5 monitor mixes. These are controlled by setting the faders in the different fader modes. So right now I'm in master mode, and that means this is going to be the fader setting. I can pick up the level as shown here. This is going to be the fader setting for what's going out over the master output. If I change to A or to B, now I'm using the faders to set the mix to the headphone outputs, which I have 5 of. There's also a built-in metronome, which you can send at a level you like to the different monitor outputs. A lot of detail, even in something like this. If you want, you can go crazy. You can give your band a 7/4 tact. But what's important here, you've got a way to adjust the level sent to the different monitor outputs. Right now, that's sending 100% level of the click to headphone output A when I've enabled A. So, if you want to record, you just turn this thing on, enable record, and then you just hit play, and he will start recording the tracks where we have record enabled. We've also got an overdub function. With that, we can continue to work on an existing project. For example, you could go Les Paul style classic and sit down with your electric guitar, record channel 1, then play back channel 1, and record on channel 2, and so on.
And what's the record format?
The record format, of course, you got standard wave files. The sample rate you choose with a switch on the back. We're doing 44.1 with 24-bit, or you can change with the switch to 48, or you can change this with the switch actually to 96 kilohertz. But if you do that, then you're not going to be able to use the EQ section. But it can do it.
So a little bit of a trade-off, but not much.
Yeah. So one more thing here, we've got a scene section. This is a matrix. People who use some other kind of digital mixers will be familiar with this concept. If I turn this on and press recall scene 1, then he's going to grab my saved fader setting on all monitor waves and master for that saved scene. So let's say I've got the monitor set up and a mix set up for the first band, then I save that on 1 like this. and then I can recall that. And for the, let's say, acoustic band plays next, totally different. I can set that up before and just recall it like this. And I've got the full fader settings and monitor set up.
Neat. So, when is this going to be available and how much?
It's available now.
Okay, next question. What's the price?
In the shop, you can get this for around $600. So,
Wow.
not bad. Also, there is a rack mount kit. This is the 19-inch format. If you get the rack mount kit, then you could mount this to a standard kind of stand or something like that. Oh yeah, so there's some other stuff. There's some other things also to notice. Here on the back, here we've got a class compliant mode. So if we've got, for example, GarageBand running on an iPad, we can connect with a USB adapter and work in audio interface mode.
Oh, that's neat.
We can switch here to a USB host mode or card reader. With the USB host mode, I can attach a USB hard disk here, and then I can put files from the mixer onto the USB drive. So got a bit of bonus features with that. Something else that this can do.
I saw a foot switch on the back there.
Oh yeah, there's a foot switch input, Control N. That's for a foot switch, so that you can start the playback and could also start recording. Something else that's quite interesting actually. You've also got the possibility to use the USB return channels. Instead of using 9, 10, 11, 12 as inputs, when in audio interface mode, you can take the outputs 1, 2, 3, and 4 from your DAW, for example, and send that back over the mixer to the monitor mixes or to the main outputs. So you can work with playback in a way that's not possible with just SD card mode. Right. Also something that's really crazy.
There's more?
Something actually that's really worth mentioning. I mentioned at the start, this is a mixer for live. It's a SD card recorder, and it's audio interface. It can do all these three things at once. That's the main idea. So you got a great solution, especially for bands and all kinds of flexible mobile recording kind of stuff, and also small home studio setups. I would recommend it.
Wow.
All right.
That's a pretty cool unit. Thank you.
There's that.